Hello, beautiful friends. Satnam. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell, followed by all. Don't forget to give me a like somewhere along the line because I love you and I deserve a little like. All my descriptions to all my social media are down below, including the Awaken Your Spirit Subscribe Star support page that you can find below as well. Today we are going to be talking about weather and weather systems that are coming into play. I have to put my computer on Do Not Disturb. Give me 1 second. But again, I welcome you to my channel. My name is Joseph Tittel, by the way, aka Spiritman J.T, here to bring you love, light, truth, predictions, and prophecy. So, our weather. So every week, every month I'm going to do this actually and talk about the weather because we're going into a system in the month of May that's going to be really, really intense. And some of the dates coming up that are important to pay attention to is we have this cycle of the solar eclipse happening on April 30th, new moon, followed by a lunar eclipse that happens on May 15th. That all occurs in the process during the Mercury retrograde as well. So with that happening on the 15th, is when we go into that energy that is like the energy shift, that wave of energy that comes across the planet. You know, when you're more tired or people are more emotional and so forth. But that has a heavy effect on weather and weather systems as well. So when we hit the 15th of May, and also the date, the 11th of May popped out in my mind. I'll elaborate on that a little bit more. But I got a lot of information, and according to Spirit, there's so much more that's going to happen that I decided that I'm going to have to do this again, sometime within the first week of May because of the information. But tomorrow we have a full moon. Today, right now, depending on where you're at in Sedona, Arizona, it's Friday, April 15th, 3:55 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tomorrow is the full moon in the afternoon, I believe. And this is going to heat up the Earth's core, according to Spirit. And this cycle is going to intensify come the 15th of May, full moon lunar eclipse. Spirit showed me the date May 11th, which I can only interpret as being a time when the Earth's core begins to expand, causing the igniting of several sleeping volcanoes. Volcanoes are not uncommon. I mean, especially nowadays, they're actually much more common. But Spirit showed me that this coming season, we're going to begin to see volcanoes that have been asleep for a long time suddenly begin to burst. Spirit showed me a vision of the ground opening up. And this was a while. It was like watching a movie. The ground was opening up. It was flat ground, maybe a little hill, but not a big mountain or a volcano. And I saw the ground open up and hot lava begin to spew out of the ground. And then I started to see the ground begin to split apart. And one crack of the ground in this underground volcano went right through a village in my vision. I don't know what kind of village, but the crack went right through it, cracked, which would be also earthquake related. But I know nothing about volcanoes. This would be something like out of a movie. This would not be what I called a sleeper volcano, but this is more what Spirit calls an unseen volcano. Thank you, Monica, with infinite love and gratitude for your chat cash. And all of you for whatever love and support that you send me and through PayPal or whatever. Thank you for that. Couldn't do this without you and spend all the time doing this. So moving on. So again, this is what Spirit calls an unseen volcano. So I see major eruptions occurring along the Icelandic Beltway. This will cause major instability in the upper region of the globe, which will bring in major shifting of land masses. Luckily, many of the shifts in the land masses that I was having visions of in the volcanoes that bring on, along with it, major earthquakes, are occurring mostly in remote areas. It's like remote areas are waking up like never before. So we'll have to, again, keep an eye on that. But also, Spirit showed me that this activity that's going to occur with this heating up of the core and the Earth's core that's happening now, probably already, but especially when we hit into the month of May and when we're in the mid-May. Because the 15th is literally dead middle May. It's the full moon. It's the beginning of the energy shift, retrograde. It's a very, very intense time. That's all the more reason why, again, I want to do this weather and tap into this in the beginning of May. So be sure, all the more reason to subscribe as well. But moving right along, this activity again shows Spirit shows me a disruption of sorts in the ring of fire. Ring, 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 ring of fire. Basically meaning that the ring of fire is going to be broken. And I saw that, like, if I'm looking at the ring of fire, somebody else put a chat cash. Thank you for that. I can't see who that is. So this is the ring of fire, we'll say, right? I don't have anything round to hold up for you, and it's like this corner, top corner breaks. Like, just to try to elaborate on this a little bit in my crazy visions that I have. And Spirit showed me there was going to be a break at the ring of fire, meaning that, like, kind of like spreading out to the top right corner, maybe at, say, 2 o'clock. If we were to look at the ring of circle, right around 2 o'clock is where I see this break between 2 and 3 o'clock up towards, I guess, Alaska. So we seen last year's burst of the underground volcano. If you remember, alleged underwater volcano. Not long after I predicted such an event would occur. But Spirit showed me a vision today of several of these underwater bursts that sends water and debris up into the clouds. My vision was basically, again, a circle with 3 of these happening within a circle, like, I guess, within a certain amount of mileage from each other. And 2 looked close within the circle, and 1 was, within the circle radius. So again, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. The vision was very clear to me, but this is also the coming disruption in the expansion and heating of the Earth's core, which will trigger 3 huge shifts in the Earth's plates and crusts. The first will be a small shift in the Earth's crusts and plates in comparison to the others that are coming over the next 5 years. This disruption will bring to light one of my previous predictions, which occurred, but this time Spirit says the next one that'll be worse this next time. And in that prediction, I said that there would be record-breaking high temperatures in the Arctic, Antarctica, and this would occur again. Spirit shows me this is going to occur again, but on a much scarier level. And they did have those record-breaking, including the big ice shelf that broke off that I also mentioned in previous predictions. But again, Spirit shows me this time it's going to be a lot worse. Record-breaking ice shelves in record-breaking size, but also in record-breaking numbers, begin to break off from this large heat up that occurs. I see a future vision of Iceland. Not Iceland, I'm sorry. I saw a vision of an ice shelf, literally, and I've said this before. I had deja vu, so I know I said this before. Breaking off and then moving quickly towards another piece of land. And I feel like there is literally a panic to divert the direction of this big iceberg or ice shelf that breaks off. So keep that in mind. Tennessee kept coming to my mind. And I saw a vision of rains that just did not want to let up. That brought along with it mudslides and rock and mudslides. I see that state especially being hit hard. This includes, of course, tornado systems. I would think this is something coming up really soon, maybe even within the next week or so. One of these systems seems to be hitting close to the area, a small city like Chattanooga. And Chattanooga popped in my mind too. So please be safe if you're in that area. I saw a vision separately of Dallas, which was partly underwater. I saw a vision of a highway system and, part of that highway system completely underwater, and I saw vehicles stranded on some type of overpass or part of the roadway. Whatever this huge storm is, more likely a hurricane, it will hit other areas as well, especially Houston. I see a cruise ship being slammed by storm surge. Like, that was a wild vision too. It looked like something out of a movie. I mean, this cruise ship was just slamming against the pier, slamming until it flipped over on its side. I would think that would have to do with Texas as well, because it was all connected to the same vision and the same prediction. So, floodwaters will cause a major dam to burst. But I also wrote in my notes, was it the waters or was it actually an intentional act? This would be huge. Again, I'm sure dams probably break somewhere once or twice a year, but this looked like a major dam. I saw things being washed away, including, residential area. So I saw also in my visions, and this one they're all kind of slightly, some of them disturbing when I see them in visions, but this is a water levee. And it reminded me of New Orleans and Hurricane Katrina. And if you ever remember the video of that levee breaking, I had the same vision exactly like that. And I'm thinking that I saw people being swept away when it broke. So that was odd, because if it was a storm, you wouldn't think people would be out in it. But it's just what I saw in the vision. I see tons of Earth activity happening throughout the planet. I'll go back to that. But whatever's happening, I'm going to talk to you about hurricanes in a few minutes. Likely this water levee break could be still connected to New Orleans and Louisiana. I hope not. I don't know where else there's water levees, but I know how clearly that vision was. I see tons of Earth activity happening around the countries of Chile and Argentina and Brazil. There seems to be a break that Spirit kept showing me in my visions, excuse me, along the southern tip of the globe. And Chile seems to feel to me like they're going to fall victim potentially of the next massive earthquake. So prayers to them. Things are going to shift. There's not much we can do when it comes to Mother Earth. We can prevent other things from happening and hold it in the light. But when it comes to Mother Earth's wrath, we have to flow through it, ride it like a surfer. Spirit does show me that there's going to be newly but slowly erupting volcano. So it's like a newly but slowly erupting volcano. And when that occurs, it's going to be a sign of massive quake, and where a massive quake will reside soon after. So again, it's like a newly erupting volcano, but just a mild eruption. And that will be an area where something massive is going to happen with quakes soon after. I felt the earth begin to shake underneath me today like never before. It kept shaking and bringing in the energy of fear like no other. I take this feeling that I had in this vision of everything shaking around me as well, being a sign, of course, of the largest earthquake likely ever recorded on record. And it's heading to our planet really soon. This feels to me like it was really violent. And I felt one large shake after another. And then afterwards, an even larger shake occurred. So, these are huge earthquakes, but one of the aftershocks ends up being way larger. And that's probably where the record breaker comes in. But like I said, it felt pretty violent to me. And Spirit kept telling me it's the big one. So, and they say that in California. I don't know if this is California. I didn't get a place. But I asked where, and I didn't get any reply from Spirit. But right after this whole vision and the earth shaking, I went into my mind to California and Hawaii next. That popped into my mind at the same time. A combination event hitting both states at the same time, perhaps. A large part of California will lose part of their power grid due to some type of large hit from Mother Nature. I thought it was volcano related, but again, I don't know what it is. Excuse me, but I'll give you more information. Because I was getting mixed events occurring, starting with California first, and I saw some type of evacuations taking place, either in California, Hawaii, or in both places. The only event that could come to my mind that would affect both California and Hawaii at the same time would have to be an earthquake under the water that causes a major tsunami. I'm not saying that's what it is, but it's the only thing that I could think of when Spirit revealed this information to me. Whether or not they're connected to each other or not. but definitely some kind of major event that's going to occur. And speaking of earthquakes, Hawaii is going to have another volcanic eruption too. That just came to me. That's not my notes. So maybe I'll get more information on it, and we'll talk about it in the beginning of May. So again, all the more reason to subscribe. Don't forget to click that like button, y'all. So a huge earthquake's going to hit the area of Ecuador and Colombia, both close to Panama. Panama, I would imagine by the vision and the feeling I had when I was getting this, would be feeling it as well. Russia has its hands full already, of course, with everything. But an earthquake, and when an earthquake hits one of their cities, it will overwhelm them completely. Is it caused on, and again in my notes I put, is it caused on purpose, or is it caused from some type of weather modification technology? So look out, Russia. Portugal and Spain kept coming to me, mostly Portugal. And I believe this will be an area of deep concern when it comes to major earthquake activity. I saw a line that goes from the edge of Spain straight across to Greece, and then Rome. And I saw, as soon as I saw that line, because I was map scrying by looking at the map today and getting information. And I saw that line, but then I had a vision of a Roman statue, like an old Roman statue, probably like an ancient statue, shaking and then falling and breaking and shattering in the street into little pieces. So I would again say that's all earthquake related. I saw, Spirit told me a twister hitting Ohio, the state of Ohio, leaving a path of destruction. Remember my previous prediction, y'all that been hanging out long enough, that I said that I had a vision of the widest and longest path of destruction in history. Well, that came to me again today, and that has not happened, and hopefully it doesn't. But today it came to me again, the widest, like leaving the widest path of destruction and the longest. But I also got that this was going to spawn off other smaller tornadoes. So those who are not in the path of this big tornado and think that they're safe can get hit by these spawns that spawn off, little spawns that keep going off like that and off to the side. And that is how the vision was. Record-breaking system. So Japan and China will have their hands full. And again, this has to do with weather and weather systems. China is going to have a volcanic eruption near an area of concern to their citizens. And again, major weather events happening all along there, but including rains that they haven't seen, causing floods like never before, especially in Japan. This is coming up this month that we're in, but it's also coming up in May. Like I said, Spirit showed me that May, we're in for it come this May. So all the more reason to tune in. And you can also join me every Tuesday. Remember, for Teatime, where we do predictions, updates, and new predictions every week. Summer heat will be unbearable, causing water restrictions, droughts, and sadly wildfires as well. But the weather's going to do this flip-flop thing, drying out areas that are not used to the heat that's coming. And storms and floods hitting dry lands like Arizona and California. India will also experience similar patterns with the flip-flop of weather and such. Hurricanes. Let's talk about hurricane Spirit. Spirit said, do not pay attention to the hurricane season dates. That's right. My guides told me do not pay attention to the dates, which I looked up today and I forget now. I think June 1st or something through the fall. Don't look to the dates because the worst can come before and after the dates of the season. So, and I'm thinking, if it starts June 1st, then probably likely we'll see hurricanes in May. And then at the end of the season too in November, October, November, or whenever it ends. I forget when it ends. That's what Spirit showed me today, and I saw a new storm developing. I say new because it was very new to the area where it was forming and hitting, perhaps islands, that the storm pounds like never before. and it looked like islands. But again, it was a new type of storm, something new developing. So it was kind of like, to me, because I was focused on hurricanes, a hurricane hitting an area of islands that never get hit by hurricanes. They might get hit by something else, but not hurricanes. So again, something to look at. But I see 3 hurricanes. I had a vision today of 3 hurricanes all at sea at the same time. 2 smaller develop soon after. So first there's 3, 2 close together and 1 out here. Say 2 over here and 1 out here. And soon after they take their course, 2 smaller ones will develop. 2 again are close side by side when this first develops, and another storm, a littler storm, developing in a distance across the oceans. And this one of these forms into a major category storm that will touch land. So we have to keep an eye out for that and know. And again, I'll talk about it on Tittle Tuesdays or in the next weather videos when we have hurricanes out there. Believe me, we'll be watching them closely. And I got more to tell you because I looked into the names of them today as well. So the Caribbean is on high watch for storms. Hurricane makes a sudden turn, slamming right into one island, leaving nothing but devastation in its path. St. Martin Island came to me very strongly. I saw a storm that rode along the edge of Cuba, perhaps the storm or a separate storm that also will change course suddenly. While I was map scrying today, I got pulled to Costa Rica and Cuba both. I believe Spirit was showing me a storm that would go right through Costa Rica. And of course, they'll say it'll lose strength once it goes through Costa Rica, but instead it gains strength before heading directly towards Cuba. And then straight up into the Florida Keys. Key West, Florida needs to be prepared for a stormy season ahead. And that whole tip of Florida. This will take us into Texas and New Orleans as well. Vegas is going to have problems this summer when it comes to Mother Nature. The highest temperatures ever on record, topping previous records by large percentages. This in turn makes their current desperation for water more desperate. But when the rains do come, and they shall come, they will wash the filth of Vegas away, and the streets will become rivers. So be prepared, Vegas. Watch storms ever so closely in 2022, and here's why. So many storms will form quickly in 2022, and will be a year where storms suddenly change courses quickly and unexpectedly, and that's why we got to watch storms very closely this year. Again, a lot of storms are going to develop suddenly out of nowhere. They're also going to unexpectedly shift and change directions. So let's take just a short look at the names of storms. So you can look at I'm not going to go through the whole list of names. I found it interesting that many of the names in numerology added up to the number 8. There were a lot of 8 and a lot of 3 storms in their list of storms. We're going to go through that list easily this year. Thank you, Todd, with infinite love and gratitude. That double 11s. Spiritual ascension. So, 12 is a number that Spirit told me to keep an eye out for, and I don't know if that's 12 hurricanes. I don't know what the 12 is, but again, hopefully I'll get more information about that in the future. So the first hurricanes that popped out at me, so Hurricane Earl and Hurricane Fiona, and then Hermine. Those 3 are all 9s in numerology. Storms to very much keep a very close eye on, which I will, as will you, when they develop. Because 9 storms are storms like Hurricane Katrina. Endings, death of cycles, a clearing. They are major, especially on dates when they hit. And that's what we'll keep a close eye on. When a storm's going to hit on the 11th or the 29th or even the 22nd, it's going to be devastating. So always pay attention to when a storm's going to touch ground. Especially the 11th or the 29th. So speaking of 11, so I think it was Sandy was an 11. One of them was an 11. But this year we don't have any 11s. We have a 22, and that's Hurricane Gaston. But a couple others that jumped out at me strongly. Hurricane Walter, even though it's a number 7, number 7 in numerology, Walter jumped out really strongly to me. And so did Hurricane Owen, which is a 3, breaks down to a 3. But Owen jumped out at me, and so did Hurricane Bonnie. So those 3. So the ones to keep the closest eye on would be Earl, Fiona, and Hermine. And then the 2 that jumped out at me the most, Walter and Owen. Owen was the first one to jump out at me on the map, on the list. So, but again, it's going to be very, very stormy. We're going to go through a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of storms, probably record-breaking amount of hurricanes that touch land this year as well. It's going to be quite an interesting season with weather, and it's only about to just begin soon, like within the next few weeks, especially as we approach the May 15th lunar eclipse and the energy shift that comes the weeks afterwards. It's going to be a very intense time. And I just lost my train of thought. But that's pretty much it for today's weather predictions. I will have more for you in a couple weeks, and I will be with you again on Tuesday for predictions update. Always tune in. Remember to hit the subscribe, click the bell, click the all. Don't forget to check your cellular devices as well. And don't forget to give me a like. Thank you for your contributions and your support and helping me to bring this information to you. I love you all very much. Have a happy full moon tomorrow. And again, tomorrow's full moon. I forgot. This is where weather is going to come in too this weekend. And I would imagine that a huge, shocking weather event could occur this weekend. Because there will be shocking events, going back to my predictions, when it comes to Sunday and Monday. But could they also be weather related? Could that be the time where a big wave hits? Something to keep a very close eye on for sure. But until the next time, y'all, I love you lots. Have a happy Easter weekend. It's always happy spring and on the other side of the globe, fall. But happy Easter holiday, happy weekend to you all with love and light. Spiritman J.T. signing off, wishing you a beautiful rest of your day and a namaste. See y'all. Much love.